Hi, guys. There's an interesting topic before us today, and we're going to be talking about what a lot of people understand to be work-life balance, but I choose to look at it from, some perspective, and I try to look at work from the point of, work-life integration because it makes a lot of sense if you're trying to integrate what you do, around your life and also managing the boundaries around those that work with you. So we're going to be discussing this. And of course, I know that you guys have done a lot of research. You've also had personal experiences, but I'm going to be sharing also from my experience, having worked as a development expert for um, well over 2 decades now. And so I want us to explore work life integration and how it differs a bit from work life balance. Then, I'll share a bit of my experience in how that has worked for me. So, first of all, what is work life integration? It involves integrating your work and your personal life, sort of that it complements each other. It's about allowing space for both aspects of your life so that you can be, you feel fulfilled in what you do and also around your life. What makes this different from work-life balance? You know, in work-life balance, you're trying to maintain a strict divide between what you do in your work, in your daily task, and your personal life. But work-life integration seeks to bring harmony. And what are those key elements that we need to look out for in work-life balance? We're focusing on maintaining, so we have a different life at work, and also we try to maintain that which is our personal life. So, but work-life integration that I've come to realize really emphasizes finding ways for both aspects of your life. Both aspects can coexist simultaneously and in harmony, recognizing that it might be different over time. So, but the key point here is to create a balance that works for us. It's not a one size fits all, but I mean, we need to define how flexible it can be and how the circumstances can evolve. And so, I try to put a few things down, and I do hope that maybe this could also help someone out there. So, for me, first of all, you need to define what work life integration means to you. What does that mean to you as a person, as an individual? You need to be able to set clear goals. So, and be open to experimenting. Achieving work life integration takes a while, it takes time. Be open to trying different approaches. I recall a couple of years ago when I started out in the development sector, of course, you may know that it could be very demanding. Sometimes you have to go to visit various communities or attend a lot of meetings or participate in capacity development sessions, and that takes a toll on your time, and it takes a toll on being away from your family and being away from the people that value you the most. And so it takes a while for you to kind of strike that balance. Um, so rather than having very rigid routines, try to be focused on flexibility. Prioritize self care, which is very important in our daily task. Set out times that for instance, when you're most active. For some of us, we understand our active times. So some people are very active in the morning hours, some are active in the afternoon, and some are more active in the evening. So how do you allocate your time? Do you allocate your time in the morning hours for meetings, or do you allocate your time in the afternoon to check up on emails, catch up on meetings, or do you allocate your time in the evening to do researches? But clearly, you need to look out for what works for you. And that is why I said be open to trying different approaches, be open to experimenting. Um, so prioritize self-care, take a lot of breaks, maintain healthy habits, set boundaries, be clear about your work hours and what happens within your personal space. What works for you might not exactly work for another person. So that is why flexibility becomes very critical. And also, we need to catch up on meetings, or do you allocate your time in the evening to do researches? But clearly, you need to look out for what works for you. And that is why I said be open to trying different approaches, be open to experimenting. Um, so prioritize self care, take a lot of breaks, maintain healthy habits, set boundaries, be clear about your work hours and what happens within your personal space. What works for you might not exactly work for another person. So that is why flexibility becomes very critical. And also, we need to, in the age that we are in, technology has also taken a toll on what we do on a daily basis. We need to also leverage technology and manage our tasks more effectively. So, for instance, if there we need to understand how to schedule emails. We need to understand how to schedule our time. We have amazing, calendar applications that we can use. That has worked for me because it helps me to sort of put things, whether they're on waiting list or things that I need to attend to, and I allocate time for them. And I also have to identify what I call focus time, because there are also things you need to do to develop yourself on a daily basis. So when do you allocate time for your personal development? You have to block your calendars for those moments where you have to focus on getting certain tasks cleared off your desk. So you don't need to clog your entire day with work related tasks. It is important that you strike that balance, and you do that in a way that enables you to take um, cognizance of your personal life and also achieving the task that is before you. So, and of course, it is important that you try to integrate this within the team that you find yourself, because when people understand that, it begins to they begin to adapt, they begin to also create boundaries, and they understand the things that work for you and when you are available to deal with their issues. So for instance, I would advise that it is important that for you to achieve work-life integration, you negotiate for flexible hours with your bosses, with your employers. These are very important because ultimately it allows you to accommodate, personal commitments. I've worked remotely for quite a while. I think apart from the COVID era, I've been working for almost 2 years now. I've sort of been working remotely, and I managed to balance my time because I also work with people from different time zones globally, and so I understand what it means to. So I definitely need to balance out my time and balance out my personal life. For instance, um, when do I get to start working? I understand that there are people that are 2 hours ahead of my own time zone in Nigeria. So I prioritize when I start having my appointments. And like I said, we have calendar applications that help us to sort of define, all of these tasks and be able to lay out your day. And also, if you're going to be doing school runs, for instance, you're going to be picking up your kids from school. You need to also allocate and block off that time from your calendar. And so people also know that within these hours of the day, they don't get to connect with you because that's a time that you've blocked off to, respond to, your personal responsibilities. It's also part of helping you to stay productive. So, any reasonable employer will understand that if, for instance, if you don't create out time that you pick up your kids from school, for instance, it means that you're not going to be productive in other aspects of the day. So, it is important that these times are set out and it helps you. For some people, they also understand that it's either they're working from home or they're working from different locations. Sometimes I have to work from, um, I work from, maybe a coffee shop or coffee cafe where, I just sit dealing with my task more efficiently. And please, like I've said, try to utilize collaboration tools. You have a couple of them. I may not be able to mention all of them, but there are a lot of those applications that you can utilize. There are group, platforms that you use within your workspace that allows you to see comments that are coming if you're going to be collaborating on developing. Let's say you're working on a concept or you're working on a proposal. Please, if you're using sort of like cloud-based applications, it helps other people to put out their ideas on the same document that we're all working on. And at the end of the day, we're able to review and come up with a final product. Try to integrate your work related task and with your personal activities. So for instance, if you're attending a networking event, sometimes I have to go, when I go to pick up kids from school. I wait for them to, they want to go play in the playground for a bit before we head home. So I use that time to catch up on, some quick meeting virtually. Sometimes I also want to listen to a podcast, or maybe there's, something interesting that I have found. It's a motivational speech, or maybe it's a book, an audio book. I take out time while commuting to listen, and that helps me at the same time while I'm also attending to personal goals. So, and set out time within the day that you catch up on your personal stuff. Try as much as possible to isolate your official emails and activities from your personal things. So let's say, for instance, your active day starts from 9 to 5. You can decide that your active days will start at 8, and between 8 and 9 would be the time that you are able to do your personal stuff, and then from after 5, you can do personal stuff. So you have to be disciplined about it, because there is a tendency that if you're not disciplined, you are bound to try to juggle and use official time to be doing personal stuff, which is more like uh, you know taking time that has already been paid for. So you need to define active time. Your employer pays for your 9 to 5, so we need to respect that. And for some organizations, you're allowed a break period between that 9 to 5 for 1 hour. So utilize it appropriately. And of course, in between the day, there could be like 30 minutes coffee breaks that you can utilize. So interestingly, you can use that to those coffee breaks to catch up on some personal stuff. And I try to, from my personal experience, I try to isolate my the devices I use. So I use my personal device for my personal stuff, and I use my organization's devices to do official stuff. So, again, what you can do to help your work life integration is to set clear boundaries, define the specific work hours. I've said this again. Communicate those boundaries to your colleagues, communicate them to your family members. My kids, they know my workspace, within the house. I have, an office space that has been created. So, and everybody respects that. They know that in my work hours, they know that they don't need to, um, you know, draw my attention to anything. They can manage that until I'm done. So, this is very important. And so also, when you are off your official hours, please let's disconnect from official hours and pay attention to your family time, your leisure activities, your family dinners. That's not the time to go jump on official stuff. So respect that and respect those boundaries, set them very clearly. um, the other thing I would say as I try to wrap up is that try to participate in wellness programs within your workspace. This is very important. And, you have to be creative about some of these, wellness programs. For instance, um, you know, some teams might decide that, okay, on certain days of the month or certain times, we want to go out and have some meditation or some exercises to keep us active and keep us more relaxed. So please take advantage of them. It's not the time to try to do all of the work that you've not done. I mean, try to isolate such times, dedicate that time to also participating in wellness programs. um, Sometimes it's a health challenge that some team members will throw up. I recall some colleagues, some team that I was part of, will set aside a certain day of the week as like a health challenge day. So, for instance, on a particular day, we want to ensure that everybody stays hydrated. So we need to ensure that on that day we do our 3 liters of water. So, so someone sets a reminder and just tries to remind people at certain points in the day that you need to, have your glass of water. And hopefully at the end of the day, because of that challenge and setting reminders, people are able to achieve their water targets for the day. Some team members have also come up in the past for with things like a fruit day. So on a particular day in the week, this is the day that we ensure that everybody has a fruit, or brings in some fruit um, to the office, or is reminded that at certain points in the day you should have your fruits. So I mean, it helps to also stay. It helps with our physical well-being, and taking care of our bodies as well, and also try to prioritize your well-being. I try to, so at the start of the day, after my early meditations in the morning, I take a walk. So usually it's about an hour plus, but I try to do 5 kilometers of, I set a target of 5 kilometers on a daily basis. So it keeps me alert and gets me ready for the day. And I do that as early as 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 or to 7, and it's really helpful. So I think it's something that we also need to prioritize, and also pay attention to the kind of diets that you have, because you don't want to have foods, or you don't want to have things that will create heartburn and all of that, and get you um, uncomfortable, that you're unable to focus on your task throughout the day. So you also have to pay attention to your diets. And take advantage of the well-being programs that are offered within your workspaces. If you're an individual, maybe you're doing your business, um, there are researches. Go online. There are a lot of opportunities, materials out there for you to learn. So please take advantage. But the ultimate thing is to pay attention to your well-being, um, so that, because if your well-being is compromised, then you're unable to also achieve your work responsibilities. But in essence, we need to try to strike that balance and achieve integration. So as I try to wrap up, my message is that work-life integration is really about striking that harmony, aligning with your unique circumstances. It's not a one size fits all. You need to adapt to what suits your needs, but ultimately respect the boundaries that you've set and be clear about how you blend your hobbies and your personal interests with achieving your work related tasks. So I want to thank you for listening, and I do hope that there may have been a few points that you've picked up from our conversation in the last couple of minutes. Do stay connected with the group, and I hope that some of the questions that you may have or comments that you may have will be passed on through the group, and we will be able to also share some insights. So thank you so very much, guys, and look forward to connecting with you on some other subjects some other time. Ciao.